Hey guys, it's Saru, and I had the opportunity to team up with En Masse to provide a fancy little gem. No pun intended. Jesus Christ help me. I'll be explaining everything you need to enchant your revamped gear from Guardian all the way to Heroic Oath, from materials to gold and the chances of success in this new system. Keep in mind in this video I will not have item XP to the max on my gear whatsoever, and I recommend that if you're going to enchant your gear to max it out on the item XP before attempting to enchant. So before moving forward, I will be enchanting gear first and then accessories to show everything you need. So let's start with Guardian. Assuming you've done your Fresh Arms and Legs quest from Dougal, you will have received a set of Guardian gear and fresh accessories to match that. As you can see, you have a certain amount of mats that you must have in order to attempt to enchant. The success rate is here, and based on your item XP, it will increase like I said before. Now as you progress in your Guardian gear from +1 to +2, 3 and up to 6, the materials will increase as well as the gold required. Now keep in mind that Guardian is the only piece of gear that will go up to +6 and then allow you to change into the next gear set, Chard, so don't expect that for every other gear. Now I've created some nice tables to demonstrate what you'll need for every single tier of gear here on the brand new revamp update. Now based on +0 to +6, the materials and gold that you'll need are 173 golden talents, 78 wood scraps, 10 Archdevon catalysts, and 8,766 gold. That's just to go from +0 to Chard. So let's enchant our weapon first. It costs 1,023 gold to go from +0 to +1, 20 gold talents, and 10 wood scraps. Now you can see in the description of these items exactly where they come from, just in case you're wondering if you need to know where you want to farm them. So I will leave this table up here while I enchant, and hopefully that will help you in preparing for the future. Now for your chest, you'll need 122 gold talents, 55 wood scraps, 9 Archdevon catalysts, and 6,262 gold. As you can see, it's very different from what you need from your weapon, for example, so you need to prepare ahead of time. So I'll go ahead and enchant, and again, I will leave this table up and running while you guys see. And lastly, for the handwear and footwear, you'll see in my table that it shows both. This means that these values should be counted twice. So the values I have here, for example, as you can see I have 11 golden talents. It's for specifically your gloves or your boots, not both. That means individually they cost 11. So if you're going to count them both, you'll need 22 golden talents. Now if that makes sense, let's continue. Now keep in mind that Guardian is a 100% chance to enchant and upgrade into Chard, so you shouldn't have any issues failing, and if you do, you probably should see customer support. Now the rest of the information here, along with the item XP and the gold needed and everything, along with fails, will be available on my website in the description below or in the pinned comment. And I'll be repeating that every so often in this video, so just keep that in mind. So as a side note, all the materials for Guardian can be farmed doing the red quest line actually. So once you start the quest that actually gives you the Guardian gear, that quest line will actually give you almost enough to go into Chard. However, if you want to go into a dungeon route, you can go to dungeons like Caliban's Challenge, Ravenous Gorge, Shattered Fleet, and other dungeons that are available on the materials themselves in the description. So on each material, like I said, it will state where you can receive the material. It doesn't always mean that they will drop. Some materials that are really rare are available in that dungeon, but it doesn't mean it's 100% drop. So just keep that in mind. Not specifically for Guardian, but I'm just saying for things like Heroic Oath or Stormcry. So moving forward with Chard, it gets a little more difficult. The same basics apply, where each enchantment will increase the cost of both gold and the materials needed to try to enhance the gear itself. Now the difference from here on out is the fact that you'll see that it goes to +9. Not +6 like I mentioned on the Guardian gear. So before you can actually go and upgrade to your next set, you need to go to +9. So these items naturally drop from the dungeons like I said. There is a chance that some of them are just rare drops. Just keep that in mind. I need to repeat this because sometimes a lot of players ask me in the comments below what I already say in the video itself. So now another difference with Chard is the fact that the base chance percentage is 73% and not 100% like Guardian was. Per failure, it's 5% increase of your chance. So that means if you fail your enchant, your 73% will go up to 78%. And then when you reach +5 and you need to go to +6, you'll notice it's 1% lower, going to 72%. And then finally 6 to 9 being 71% and 9 going to Frost Metal means 70%. This kind of prepares you for the big drop in chances that's going to come after Chard. If you don't want to risk that, you probably want to go for your item XP. Just keep in mind that after Chard, you're not going to get 100% just by farming item XP. So I'll show the charts for every single piece here, and I hope it helps. So I'll just disappear into the void, looking for a reason to live. What is life? Perhaps it's I. Perhaps I am life, and you too are life, and therefore we create life by sustaining life. It's a deep thought. I often wonder if Lucifer's back on TV. I think it is, actually. I think Netflix just picked it back up. What to do now? What to do? Oh! So now going into the mid-tier Frost Metal, once again this piece of gear needs to go to +9 before being upgraded. Now materials in gold will be a little more costly than previous tiers of gear like Guardian and Chard, but the materials are usually easily accessible through dungeons like Lilith's Keep Norma mode. Once again, you can check specific materials you need even if you need to use entropic or metamorphic emblems just to see the specific material, or you can buy them with them. It will show you what dungeons they drop in. I'm going to repeat that almost every single time. Now with Frost Metal, the chance percentage is much lower. You'll notice that every failure is not 5% now, but 3%. And the item XP will help a little bit, but ultimately you'll start out at 45%, and then you'll go down to 36% when upgrading. Now here's a chart for every single piece for that particular tier, and I hope it helps. Now Stormcry. Now Stormcry at one point, kind of like Deathrack, used to be the top piece of gear, and it has one of the lowest base percentages next to Heroic Oath's upgrade, which is 10%. So gold is far more costly here, and the materials needed require a bit more grind, and they are a bit more scarce from dungeons. Now you'll be farming in harder dungeons such as Sky Cruiser, Metal Refinery hard mode, Ruinous Manor hard mode, and Arcane 9 hard mode in order to get these materials themselves, but it is a grinding game after all. This is TERA, and it would be weird if you didn't have to grind for something. So I will show a chart here again for every piece of gear for Stormcry itself. Again, if you're unsure where these items drop, you can check in the description of those particular items. Even if you take off that piece of gear to enchant, even though you don't have those items and they're grayed out, you can see where they come from. Now lastly is upgrading from Stormcry to Heroic Oath. Now this is probably the most expensive and the hardest thing to achieve in game, and I'm pretty proud that actually during the filming of this video on my weapon, I went from +9 Stormcry to Heroic Oath within one try, and that's risky. Now Heroic Oath is probably the hardest thing to achieve in game. It's the top end gear, and you'll probably be using that gear even after level 70 patch much later on. But in a later video when we progress and Heroic Oath has enchanting availability, that means +1, +2, and +3 up to +9, I will make a guide on that as well. Now in terms of gear pieces, this is the very last chart I will show you for that particular tier. Now the materials for this can come from world BAMs, rallies, the hardest dungeons in game, and some items do come from emblems and the Guardian Legion shop, but not all of them. So you want to make sure that you're looking in the right direction, because you might be wasting resources you can use on something else. So now we're going to start our accessories from Prospect all the way to Ethereal. Now if you really think about it, it's kind of like Guardian to Heroic. It's the same tiers basically, but just a different name. So it's rough, and it is pretty expensive actually to upgrade your jewelry. Trust me, mine myself are at Entropic, and I cannot be asked to at least try to get into Ethereal, because that is expensive, and those tries break hearts. They break hearts if they fail. So before we go into Ethereal, I'm going to show off the belt itself, which is the last piece of gear for Stormcry. It is technically an accessory, but for some reason it does have the names that the gear has, so here you go. So as you can see, it gets more and more expensive and grindy, especially when it comes to item XP. It's pretty big. Now going into Ethereal, we're going to start with your necklace, and this is what you're going to need for your necklace itself. Now all these items, by the way, they are kind of different from your gear. Almost all of them drop from the same locations as the normal gear drops. Just like the normal mats, you can also look at the locations on those mats as well when enchanting in the menu if you're unsure. Now rings are a little different, but they have the same values as earrings, so the table is going to show both earrings and rings because they have the exact same values. And lastly, you're going to need your brooch and circlet, needing these specific mats. And it does get a little expensive, like I said. Some of these upgrades actually don't make sense because they go higher, 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 and then suddenly drop in price and then go back up. So I don't know what's up with that. These motherfuckers don't know how to count. But anyways, that's just my opinion. So here's the table for both the brooch and the circlet. So you'll notice that the brooch can actually go into quatrefoil now. You don't actually have to farm for the goddess tears or farm for the goddess gemstones, which unfortunately I had to, or actually pay for them, which that was rough. But you can go all the way from the beginning accessories that you get from Guardian gear all the way to quatrefoil. And it won't say who it's crafted by, which is unfortunate, but that's pretty much it. You may have noticed that it says goddess brooch. You don't have to worry about that right now. That's for the future. Just keep on checking this chart in the future, and maybe I'll make a guide on how to actually upgrade from your quatrefoil to the goddess. Or unless you have the marrow brooch, then we'll talk about that later. So Bellum is a 100% success chance, so don't worry about that if you guys are worried about these mats. But just like the normal gear, all these percentages will drop, especially on entropy when it drops to 36%, and finally 10% to get into ethereal. So that's it. If you guys want the full list on these materials, the values that I've spent many hours writing down. No, literally, I spent 10 hours straight making these tables and making sure that every single thing was 100% to what I had on the video. So if you want to do that, you can go to my website in the description below or in the pinned comments. On there I have some extra details as well that I'm not showing on this video, such as the fail enchants, the success chances, and so on and so forth. And voila! In case you're wondering, with all this gear, with full ethereal and full heroic oath, the max item level for TERA right now is 457, assuming you have a Pinkalicious Innerwear and a quatrefoil. Again, all these materials and items can be grinded for, farmed for with battlegrounds, farmed with guardian legions, or doing world bans, or other activities. Yes, even the Veilthrox. I hope the video helped, and massive thank you to En Masse Entertainment for helping me make this video itself, and actually reaching out to me to create this video. I actually never ever thought about making this video, and the idea was offered to me by them, and I had to accept. I mean, it was a pretty cool opportunity. So here I am. Thank you for working with me to create this guide for the players and for the TERA Console community that really want this or really need this and need to be prepared when other resources on the internet are usually TERA PC. And as we know, TERA Console is almost 100% different now from TERA PC. If this is not any evidence, you can compare 100% cross-referencing this video or my tables over with Essential Manas or somebody else's, and they're completely different. Now I will have a guide on crafting and how it works for revamp, making brand new etchings, brand new materials like derricks or silver plates or whatever the case. So that's about it. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable bell to know when I upload a brand new video. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends. Oh, I guess if you want to know what happened to that beautiful gear and materials and gold, well... It's all gone. It's all gone, baby. All gone. Oh God, Jesus, what?